There's this big supply deficit, and people are finding, 0.1%, 0.2%. Even at these prices, that's not really economic, even if you've got, a billion odd tonnes. This stuff's sticking out of the ground. So we're seeing it, we can touch it. It's down to the assays.
Welcome back to the Market Frontlines. I'm Lyndsay Malchuk, right here at Appeton, coming to you from the Mining Club in beautiful Vancouver. Now, copper is back at the center of the global conversation, and not just because of what's already been found, but because of what still hasn't been found. Now, the market is starving for scale, that we know of, and starving for grade, and starving for new discoveries that actually move the needle. And every now and then, a story pops up to the surface that makes people stop, lean in, and ask a very different question. What if this one is actually real? That's exactly where this next company is starting to land. Joining me now is Troy Whittaker, Managing Director of White Cliff Minerals. Troy, it's so great to have you here. Welcome to Vancouver.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here. Sun's out, sun's shining, blue sky.
Yeah,
fantastic, eh?
I'm going to say that you brought the sun here from down under.
I'll claim it. It was raining when I left, but we'll claim it.
You did
Sun's
not then. Isn't it winter in Australia right now?
Well, winter, still 20 degrees,
Oh, you poor
it's
thing.
tough, I know. But I'll claim the sun.
Okay, you claim it. I want to kick this right off, and I want to know, just give us a high level, what does your company do? Tell us your elevator pitch.
So White Cliff Minerals, it's been around for a while. Myself, I got involved 2.5 years ago. And we got involved, and we were looking for a company that could sort of go after and chase copper. As you said, people are looking for scale. They're looking for discovery. And if you look down on the ASX, there's a real void there. There's a real gap where people are crying out for something like this.
Right.
And we've seen that over the last 2 years, we've scratched the surface. There's a sniff. There's smoke. It's starting to get a bit of fire. It's pretty exciting.
Now, are these high grades you're finding? What are you finding?
So we sort of wind back for 2 years, like when we first went to our first campaign. We had a couple of samples there which returned 64% copper, 62% copper.
Right.
It's effectively pure copper, and that's what put us on the map because the system where we are is super fertile, and that campaign just revolved around walking around looking for what was outcropping. I've done that with iron ore, but copper was a first for me. And then fast forward to our first campaign last year, really thick intercepts and pretty substantial grade.
Yeah, where is your project?
So we're just in Nunavut. So think Yellowknife, which is only 90 minutes from us now on a commercial flight. From Yellowknife, we charter a plane up to our airstrip. So again, another 90 odd minutes, maybe a little bit shorter. But our own airstrip, we're only 70 kilometres from the coast. Closest town there is Kugluktuk. But nice little area. It is in the Arctic, so right now it is a little bit cold. I think, leaving Perth, it was 20 odd, and might be minus 20 if I'm being generous. Ooh. But, a little bit of a swing there, but it'll get warmer. We'll be in shorts there shortly.
Absolutely. Now, are you drilling or you're exploring?
Drilling.
Tell us about that.
So first campaign last year, we came off the back of 64%, 60% rock chips. It's got to be there. Last year we hit a couple of worldies. If you look at the last 10 years, we've probably got two of the top five, 175 metres at 2.5% copper from surface. This is all copper. 90 metres at 4%, 105 at 2.25. Like the list sort of goes on. It's unbelievable. And this year we've just gone into sort of our first step out campaign. And that's what we're talking about at the start is, scale. What makes this thing stand out from the rest?
Yeah, tell us that.
Last year we drilled in about 1,000 metres. If I'm sort of round numbers, 1,000 metres. This year, our first hole, we collared 5.5 kilometres away.
Wow.
So we've stepped out, we've gone for it. There is a giant geophysical anomaly which sort of sits all up and down this regional structure. Now, we don't have assays yet. This is all visuals, but, we have to put 6 holes in, 1,500 metres. So remember, we're 5 kilometres away, and we're seeing visual sulphides.
Wild.
So now we're, as I say, 5-6 holes across 1,500 metres, 5 kilometres away.
I
Something's there.
mean, so one of the big topics right now is because there is such a high demand for copper. If people that have like a low grade, even a secondary as copper, if they're able to make X amount of dollar because of the run that copper's having right now, what is stopping them from just getting saturated in the market with really low grade copper? I mean, what's your take on this, on all of this?
I think you still have to find it. And that's one of the things is people talk about I think, personal opinion, I think anywhere from 1.5 million tonnes of contained copper, I think you're in the money. But you look at ours, I don't want to say our worst intercepts, our lowest grade was still well above 0.5% copper. So, it's in the money. This just comes down to scale now, and that's what we're chasing.
Well, why don't you tell us about the community that you work with there?
So Kugluktuk is the local town, only 75 odd kilometres away. It's actually a town which is known for copper. If we looked a little bit harder when we were looking around for all these claims, the region's copper mine. Local town is Kugluktuk, and they're famous for actually having native copper like tools, idols. So you think hammers, and they're that famous for it that I've been there 4 or 5 times now, and 2 of those times there's a big cruise ship parked out there in the ocean and running people in and out so they can come and have a look at this native copper tools. That's
pretty cool. Wow. Now, does this community, are they engaging with you? Do they have a seat at the table? How are you incorporating them into your plan?
I think that's probably one of the good things about where we are, and especially Cook, is they're proactive about it and they're welcoming about it, and they're looking for the opportunity. To date, as I say, this is our 3rd field season. We've had minimum 3 people on site each time. Just today, visibility is a little bit low up on site, and so the local town is on skidoos, running out fuel, water, provisions.
Wow.
We've got a great relationship with the locals, and we're quite happy to keep being proactive about that because there's good people there.
Let's pull back the curtain a little bit here. If we were sitting here 1 year from now, what is a headline that you would be like, this is the headline I want to talk about?
I think, a year from now, so this year is the year of putting Whitecliff on the map. And this is all about defining scale, defining grade, defining the tonnes. So, this time next year, I want to be sitting here and, the discovery's made. And, we're the most talked about, regardless of stock, we're the most talked about copper discovery in North America.
Right.
And everything we'll do this year is marching towards that.
Okay, and what are some catalysts you need to hit to make sure that you're set to reach that goal potentially?
So, look, I'm actually quite proud at the moment. Every exploration company should just focus on putting drill bits into the ground.
Okay.
And everything we do this year is that we've been up there now for 2 or 3 weeks, drilling the entire time. Between now and the end of November, that's all we'll do is drill. Every dollar we've got will just go into the ground. And that means results. So it means assays, it means results, it means news flow. If we continue to hit copper, then when we sit down next year, we'll be like, told you.
Here we are. Troy, it's such a joy to sit and learn about your project. Thank you so much. Definitely come back. I'd like to learn more for sure.
Cool. Thank you very much for having me. Appreciate
Absolutely. Again, that was Troy Whittaker, Managing Director of Whitecliff Minerals, trading on the ASX under WCN and on the OTCQB as WCMLF. This is where stories start separating themselves, where the geology begins to speak louder than the narrative. I'm Lyndsay Malchuk with Appiton. Stay with us, and don't forget to subscribe.